And I put Effie's bookkeeping on some, but then I
Show
mixed
Grandpa.
in the middle those. She'll die when
She
she
showed
picks
it
that
to me
up.
a while ago, it's pretty, thank you.
Yeah, Courtney says, you shouldn't use these, it's about their dirty.
I told them that when we used to try
You
to
know what
break her,
she did? She,
absolutely
How old
wanted
is
me
she?
left-handed.
she's 10. She
Take
goes
that
to a
pencil away
Christian
from her and give it to
school.
her in her right hand,
And
she
she
could
was
choose to
telling
put it right
Rhonda
back to her
that
left hand.
when they
That's what
have
I
chapel, they pray for people. And the little girl behind her prayed that her aunt wouldn't die because she was sick. And Rhonda says, well, what'd you pray for? And she says, well, I just prayed that Grandma and Papa would get enough money to buy that typesetter they need. Well, because she heard them talking, they were watching the paper to get one, you know, because you buy them used, you don't buy them new. The next week, would you believe she bought one? I said, I hope she doesn't think that she can just pray for things and get it, you know, but we didn't mention it to her, so they were unloading it and Dick mashed his finger real bad. That's okay, Papa, I'll pray for you tomorrow when I go. He says, I don't need it tomorrow, I need it today. But that was so cute. She prayed they'd get enough money for a typesetter.
That's cute.
All right,
What's it, guys?
Turn it off for a minute.
get ready. Tell us about the first Christmas that you can ever remember.
Oh, Lord.
Was he there?
The first Christmas I can remember, I can tell you exactly. We lived in that big brick house in the old Berry place. Us kids is out in the yard playing, the sun is shining just like it was today, and the honeybees flying all over the place.
Where was that at?
Kentucky, right across the river from Golconda.
Oh.
I didn't remember a brick house, Dad. I remembered that little frame house where Opal was born.
Oh, well, that brick house is way on down. That brick
Oh.
house was in the dam across the Ohio River was just above where that brick house was.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
There's good big pecan trees all over the place. I pick them up like that.
Well, how many kids did you have at that time?
How many kids did I have?
Oh, you were little.
My dear, I didn't have any kids at that time. I had two brothers.
Oh, you were.
Phyllis,
How old were you?
How old? Oh, I was about somewhere around 11 or 12 years old.
Oh. and
Phyllis, when his dad died in Tennessee, they came back and lived with Grandma Capron's father for years until he died. That's where Opal was born, in that little house. They lived with Mom and Dad lived with Grandma Capron in the house where she had lived and raised her boys.
What'd you get for Christmas that year?
I just couldn't tell you to save my soul because we was poor people then. We didn't have anything.
One time he said that they all, I think Mommy told me, they gave their kids bananas and that was all they had.
We
They
had
thought that was the
fruit
greatest
all
thing.
year. Yeah, we had
But at Christmas
like
time, they
oranges,
thought
and
they
Dad
were
used to
really
buy
good.
stalks of bananas like that, yeah. I was telling Courtney today after all that stuff she brought from the Miltons and everything that they bought her, I said one time, the best birthday I ever had, Mom made me a flannel gown. You know, but she just has all of this stuff. And Rhonda was mad. She was really mad because Cynthia bought her all that stuff. You know, that's not right.
No.
That's really not right.
They
They have too much.
have too much.
Too much. Can't you remember a lot of Christmases when you didn't get very much?
Oh, I remember many Christmases and
When you did.
we were at a flea market too, and they had these old flour sacks, and I said my grandmother used to make me dresses out of those flour sacks, and my friend said, what?
Some of those flour sacks used to be pretty.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I tell you.
You ate the flour and then you made dresses out of it.
Yeah, I can remember a lot of Christmases when we didn't get very much.
What kinds of things did you get for Christmas in those days,
Dick-
Granddad?
You what?
What kinds of things did you get for Christmas?
Honey, we didn't get anything. We didn't have Christmas then like they have it now.
Oh,
We always had plenty of hogs to butcher for our meat for the year. That's
She looking for Sue?
chickens. Anytime we wanted chicken, we had chicken. Anytime we wanted anything else, we had it.
We used
That's
to,
all they live for now.
we used to play sick to stay home from school on the day they butchered the hogs.
Why, that was a big deal?
Yeah, it was, really. It was something different, you know. Mom, Dad used to grind their own sauce, make their own pork sausage.
These hams you buy now, they're just meat, they're not hams.
Do you notice the difference in the hams?
Oh, yeah. Those smoked hams, like we used to have, was a lot better than these. These are cured.
They're all salty, though, aren't they?
No, if you smoke them, no. We had a smokehouse where you put that green wood and the smoke would come up and you'd hang the. Yeah, I think that's how they cure them now. Yeah. I was gonna buy one. We were down in Kentucky and they had one of those Cracker Barrel restaurants. They had those cured hams. But it was awfully expensive and you're taking a big chance on it not being good. But it sure smelled good.
What are we doing? I don't know. We're listening.
That old thumb
Tell-
ain't
tell
no
your dad
good,
what a
quit
frog
chewing
says.
on it.
Tell your dad what a frog says. Get that thumb out of your mouth. What does he say? You told me just a minute ago.
What'd she say?
Said ribbit. I pointed out the frog and she said ribbit. Right?
Your grandma made that. That frog, she made us one
Turn
for
on the lights.
Christmas.
Oh, look at
Helen's was getting kinda droopy.
What do they say?
What else can we have Granny tell us?
Buddy say ribbit? Ribbit, ribbit,
What else
ribbit,
can you
ribbit,
tell us
ribbit,
about
ribbit,
Granddad?
ribbit.
I can't tell you much about anything else, honey. Not that, interesting that I know of.
Why doesn't he tell you about when they used to play cards and one time he got mad at Mom and slept in the barn all night and like froze to death? She never let him forget that race. He used to get mad every.
One or two nights we played all night.
Yeah, they used to play cards all night, but only
What kind of
once he
cards?
slept in the barn.
He never
What does the dog
Is it 'cause he won or lost?
asked him.
He,
Who do you play with?
Huh? Jim Grissom and his wife used to come see me and Mom. They come
Is a birdie?
one evening and after we had supper we went to playing cards. They got ready to go home, it was raining so hard they couldn't even see the car. I said, just shut the door and come on in.
A duck says quack quack.
but when we lived on a farm, they used to, a lot of people would come and they'd play cards all night. That's
Y'all
when he,
lived there in the trailer?
when we lived in Kentucky is when he
Chuck
got
and
mad.
Evie used to come over and we'd play cards. The folks from up in Iowa, when they were visiting, they always come over and we played cards and had a nice time.
Opal and Viola used to too, and Opal and Evelyn used to go a lot and play cards with. If he lost, the next time they went, he had a new deck there.
That's freezing 'cause you get your fingers.
He don't like to lose.
An old Vegas trick.
You don't like to lose.
Tell Raymond about your first job. I was telling him about that. The first job you ever had.
The first job I ever had? Well, the first job I ever had was when I was about between 11 and 12 years old.
Nowadays, an hour for 19.
I worked for a guy for 45 cents an hour.
What else can you tell me? Let me switch sides.
45 cents a day, I mean, not an hour.
Yeah.
And that is from daylight till dark.
About 4 cents an hour.
First job I had that I was hiring out
What'd you do?
on the farm.
Oh.
This picture.
Then didn't you say he made you the foreman or something?
I stayed on the farm until my kids was all pretty good size.
But didn't you say the guy made you a foreman? He made you the foreman of the job, didn't he? Weren't you the boss, the supervisor or something?
No,
I don't
that was
think on the farm they had.
long before I married.
I don't think they had
That's a woman.
bosses on the
I'm
girls.
saying there were some other guys there that didn't work or something, and so the guy put you in
Yeah,
charge.
that's right.
She got a new one. What's an owl say? Oh, she knew it.
You only had about,
She goes,
Makes you think I should just learn it.
you only had about 5 different
I
hard
thought I
hands.
just taught you something. Something intelligent. What
About
an owl says.
300 acres of corn to cultivate and the hay to cut in. He was running for sheriff. He wasn't at home too much. Come and ask my grandfather if he'd let me go down and work for him. That's the first real job I ever had on a farm. I was getting $1 a day on board, keeping these men moving.
He was the boss, and he was 11 or 12, he said.
Well, you know, Dick worked, you know where our shop is? Over here on Central, that used to all be cornfields. Dick worked 3 summers for that man that owned all of that land there to buy his first car. That Butch owned all of that. That was all farmland in there. And he sold all that for that
That's
shopping
where we
center.
got that nice collie dog. That farmer
Yeah.
that Dickie worked for, give him a pup.
Yeah, he paid
Oh.
$1 for
Yeah, I remember
a
that.
Corky. He paid $1 for him.
You know what that one is.
And he when he got that blamed dog, she wasn't weaned. He had to sleep with her. And if he took his hand, when she got too big, he put her down on the rug, but he had to sleep with his hand on her head or she cried. And I think Buddy probably sleeps with Jerry because that dog is so spoiled.
Oh, I went through some pretty rough times, girl.
Well, you
Pretty
did,
rough times.
back then you didn't notice it though, 'cause everybody was in the same boat. Nobody made any money. But I tell you, your dollars went a lot further than they do now. Could buy a lot more with a dollar.
Mommy used to work too, didn't she? She was saying she worked.
Oh, yeah, she worked.
In Golconda, she did housework, yeah.
What's her finger taste good?
Well,
Those are cards. No, they're yours.
No, when
Granddad's.
World War II broke out, and the women was all going to the mill to work. Superintendent in the department I was in come to me and wanted to know if I'd have let my wife come into work. I said, no,
What are these two?
I won't. He said, why? I said, I've got a son at home that's going to school, and I want her at home when he comes home from school.
You know who they is? Who knows that?
I worked in the mill.
Oh, did you?
I worked in the open heart. Sure did.
How much out
I was about the third woman that they ever hired in the open hearth, and that was the last department they ever put women in. You know, I don't remember how much we did make then because
What
we
did
were
you
union.
actually do? You
We-
worked on those
You
big
made out
furnaces?
the orders to ship the steel to wherever it was. After they poured it in the molds, you had to count the molds and ship it to wherever it
Oh
was
my
shipped.
gosh.
We had a little office down.
Was
on
that during the
Skidson.
war?
Yeah. We had a little office.
She was one of those ladies with the bandanas tied around.
Yes, you had to, and I tell you one other thing, you wore long underwear summer and winter because you went up on a platform, the steel was here, and if you would have burned yourself up, it was hot. Oh, really hot. We wore long underwear, winter and summer, just at work. We
Insulated.
had, lockers that we left it in, there, but it was, that.
Young lady, I've carried you a many a mile with your legs around my neck and me holding your hands.
Duncan used to put you under his overcoat. We'd get off of the bus and it would be cold and he'd put her under his coat and button her up and carry her down the road to Mom's. I had a letter from Velma. Duncan has Parkinson's disease. But as long as he takes his medication, he's okay, you know, but he has to take it. He was down Dad's. He came to check on that old man that lived down there, it's a friend of theirs, and he called me at the shop, and I went down and we visited for a while. That's the first time I've seen him since, since your mom's funeral. It's the first time I've seen him. But, I knew that he had that because Velma, I had a letter from her and she told me that that's what was wrong with him.
Mommy, wake up.
She caught you, huh?
She always catches Dad.
You don't want anybody sleeping.
We're gonna do that too.
What about Buddy? Give me a story about Buddy, because I'm going to send him a copy of this tape. You got a story about Buddy? What about?
No,
You went fishing with him or something?
Buddy was always my buddy. Always my buddy. We went fishing.
I don't remember him. Oh, he used to go
His
fishing with Buddy
stepfather
and
was always
Ed.
hollering at him. I said,
Yeah.
let him alone, that's my tackle box. Just let him do as he pleases.
Oh, yeah. Who would holler at him?
Ed.
Oh,
Ed
Ed
used to
Tucker.
go, yeah.
It's my tackle box, you just let him alone, let him do as he pleases. Yeah, I used to do him and Jimmy both that
Do you
way.
like to ride?
Let him alone, let him alone.
You like to ride? Yes.
But Buddy hasn't forgotten it, but Jimmy has.
Huh? That's Sue? Hmm? You don't call her auntie?
Rabbit.
Ribbon Sue.
Really
He
like
calls me Ribbon Sue.
when you talked to him today, boy, that voice sounded good.
Yes, better than it did for a while there.
Oh, when I talked to him before, he just sounded so terrible.
I know.
The other time I called, Priscilla wasn't home. I talked to Jane, but today I talked to Priscilla. I talked to her longer than I did Buddy.
Hey, my buddy.
He,
You wanna sit?
he says he's taken up,
What do you want to
what
Go
was
ride
it?
some more?
Sailboating, I think.
And it's funny, until we get on eating dinner here, last year I didn't go over to Opals to see the folks that was over there because Dick and Cynthia was going down to her sister's and had a chance for me to get a ride home without having her to do it after working like she'd worked all day. So I just got in the car with them and went home. But today I went over, and you know, it was all there except Becky and Bill and their son. All of the rest of the Nancy and all of them was there. They just spoke when I went in. And Tommy just jumped up and come and arms around me and she just wouldn't leave me. She just moved the chair right over by mine and stayed right there.
She's a very
Till I
loving
left.
little girl.
She's the
What's
only
your
one
name?
that really paid any attention to me.
I haven't seen her in years.
Tommy, she hasn't changed too much.
Yeah.
She's a sweet
I'll
little
tell you.
girl. She really is.
Her husband's
Oh,
a nice looking guy.
Dad, Mark and Tommy are not married. They're not married yet. They had to postpone their wedding. They're not gonna get married till next year.
But she introduced him to me as her husband.
What are you doing?
Well,
Probably said her future husband.
yeah, he didn't catch it. He got hurt when they were in Las Vegas. He fell on a construction job and he's had, a suit against the company and that, so they had to wait till next year to get married. But, I don't go over there. I figure if they wanna see me, they'd come over here, and they don't ever come over here. And Danny's little Kathy is, her sister comes in every once in a while and gets a pizza. And the last time she was in, she told Nancy that she's not good at all. She just has those seizures all the time. Some days she won't eat or get out of bed or anything. And she doesn't know anybody. That's real sad. I feel sorry for him and her. She'd be better off if she would just go to sleep and not wake up, because I don't think that she'll ever, I got a cramp in my leg.
Oh, gee.
I'm getting too old to sit in the floor.
Pull your chair out a little bit, Brenda.
And,
Oh, I
what are
see.
you doing? Are you dancing?
That's
Courtney
what I have
said
most
last
of my
night, I'm
trouble
gonna
with.
sing
Look
four
how
Christmas carols.
crooked
Oh
them
my
hands
God,
if
give
you
me
get
some
them.
cotton. for my
Yeah.
ears. But she ended
I
up
had
with
to
a
take
little
the ring
snatch
off
of
of that and
about
put it
two.
away. Isabel brought it out the other day. I was thinking about having it made big enough that I could wear it. I got it on to about
I got a cramp in my leg.
I told her what I was thinking about, and she said, Dad, I've seen 3 or 4 done like that, and it never did come out right. I said, take this one back and put it away.
Yeah.
Forget it. I can't even sleep in that.
You playing the drums now or what?
If I slept in that, I couldn't get it off in the morning.
Ben scribbles and
I sit here a lot of times reading the paper, and it'll come out still another way, and I just have to drop the paper and hold it.
Hot pencil.
You have a pencil.
Oh,
you have a
I-
pencil?
Yes.
I saw that. Where'd
I
you
have
get
to
that
be
pencil?
happy, and I am happy, and I have to be satisfied.
Yeah.
I'm happy that my health half as good as what it is. I think I have excellent health. Outside of this sinus, and that's something you ain't gonna get shut of. No, I don't care what you do with it, you
Yeah.
ain't gonna get shut of it.
It's cozy. You like living here?
I do if I could ever get it finished.
Me and my
But,
doctor
you know,
has a
this,
fuss about that every once in a
and I
while.
told the kids, forget it till
He thinks
after
I've got
Christmas and then we'll start. I gotta do
emphysema?
my bathroom.
I said,
I'm
Doctor,
gonna
I'm
take
gonna
that
make
medicine
you-
cabinet out and just
I'm
put
gonna
the
tell
farm
you something
light
that you
and
don't
the
really
mirror
realize.
and
He said,
shelves
what's
on
that?
both
I said, if
sides.
I've got
But
emphysema,
Doug just has so much
I was
to do,
born
and his
with it.
hours, you know, when he wasn't working in the mill, he had
I said,
long
I've had
days
what I've
because
got now,
his
but
area
long
was in
before I
the
ever
little
known what a cigarette was.
and sometimes he would leave at 6 and he wouldn't get home till
So,
8.
in fact, I've
8:30.
had it all my life.
And now he's back in the mill, it's shorter hours, but
I said,
Dick
the
always
doctors
beats
told
me
me
to
when
it.
I was in the
He has
South,
to go and do something to the
the only way
camera,
I
or
could
this
do
press is
anything
out of
about it was to
line.
go where the cloud
And,
halfway suited
One
me
of
and
these
stay
days,
there.
I'm gonna
That's
get here
why I'm here.
first, but it is kind of crowded.
I said, a lot of times in Kentucky, I got sore across here and
And
all
I have to put
around
my
my
sewing
eyes.
machine out here, cause I
I
have
couldn't
no
touch
room
it.
in the, what?
Hi,
Since
granddaughter.
I've been up here, I've never had a
Oh.
headache.
Do you
That's
think
where
I'm your
I'm staying.
grandma? Hmm?
Hey, sure, why not?
You wanna go, Deb?
Itsy Spider?
She's getting tired.
Itsy
No, it's
Spider?
okay.
How do you do that? I don't know how. So you do it for me. I don't know how to do it. How do you do that? Like this? Am I doing it right? Sing the song. Itsy bitsy spider, that's all I know.